go with another big edition of the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast, coming to you from the Varsity Sports Bar and Grill. And this is an edition that we've been looking forward to for a long time. So let's get the ball rolling. Hi, everyone. I'm Dan Carroll. I'm going to open my first beer.
It's not really your first one.
No, not really but the first one for podcasting purposes.
Yes.
You know what I mean. Rob Herking, what's going on over there?
Not much, Dan. I'm glad.
I kind of like this setup a little bit.
I was just going to say the separation's beautiful.
We're a little bit farther away from each other.
Separation's beautiful, Dan.
I'm kind of liking this. I could get used to this setup.
I could too.
I can get used to it too when you two set it up and tear it down.
The voice you just heard is Jason Kiefer. I hurt my back setting up, so I will not be able to participate in the teardown.
Nope. Bullshit.
Oh, it really hurts, man.
I didn't witness that injury.
It wouldn't be any fucking shock. It wouldn't be any shock to anybody that's either listened or watched the podcast. So,
well, there we go then. We're all set. We got a couple people here today. Kind of looking forward to. You want to introduce them, Keith?
Yeah, I would love to.
One of them might be related to you.
Yeah, one of them might be related.
Might be. You never know.
We've got my brother Mark Carwish in the house. He's been on the podcast before. I mean, it was very, very early on.
Been a while.
Mark, good to see you, brother.
Good to see you guys.
How you doing, man?
Hey, doing great. Thanks for having me.
Well, I'm glad. Thanks for being here.
Yes, sir.
We're always happy to have you on.
Looking forward to it.
So we brought in through Mark, a friend of Mark's that I'll let Mark introduce the guest.
Yes. Well, Bill Renken is with us today. He's a longtime friend of mine. He is a West Side guy, and he is a professional photographer by trade in the media. I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about it for almost 3 decades. Has quite a bit of experience with celebrities across this city. But Bill was somebody that I met a long time ago through the baseball community, Major League Baseball. We became best of friends, like family to me. So go back to the old days. Meeting, yes.
We're still around, Mark.
All right, we're still kicking.
Hey,
exactly.
Hey, rather be seen than viewed.
Yes, sir.
Okay, and that's where we're at. But boy, I want to thank you guys for allowing me to be part of this. This is great, man. In the past, you had Bronson Arroyo, Solomon Wilcox, Wildman Walker, Marty Brim, the Hall of Famer. That's pretty strong, and throw Bill Renken from the West Side in there. How does that come about?
And we've got Merrill Hodge coming up on our next podcast.
There you go.
Do you know when that is, Dan?
That's tomorrow night.
There you go. I was curious.
Just
on the
about
next
20,
podcast.
just a little over 24 hours from now.
No, you just
going to
said
be fantastic.
The way he alluded to it being the next podcast, he had no freaking idea what day it is.
He didn't. I was curious if he was going to know too.
No, it's tomorrow. It's tomorrow night, 5 o'clock, right here at the Varsity Sports Bar and Grill.
Good job, Dan.
So, Bill, you ought to come over and take a few photographs, man. It'd be fantastic.
Well, the phones have kind of taken over, but you know what? I'm always looking for her to get out of the house, so to speak. Right?
You know, Bill, and to that point, and I'm going to usurp any kind of order we may or may not have here, but as far as the phones taking over, I hear what you're saying. Everybody's got access to a phone. Everybody videotapes things now. But you were showing us some photos, and we're going to see some photos today. I think it does not translate what you take digitally on a phone as much as what the old school, the sharpness, brilliance, and the staying power that those old school cameras and photographers,
that's
trained photographers,
absolutely
do. It's brilliant.
My background was art and graphics. I worked in TV at Channel 9, 5, and 12 for 26, 30 years at all the stations. And that's how I kind of even my background was in art, credentials are pretty accessible back then. And Jack Moran, old school guy, may he rest in peace, handed me a credential, said Bill Renken, WCPO photographer, for a piece of artwork I did for him, and that's how it got started. And wasn't supposed to be down there because I'm an artist, but he thought it would just get me into the games, So Mr. Bill Renken borrowed my brother-in-law's camera, my Konica, with 100-speed film. Have no idea. Tom Seaver's pitching. Pete Rose is playing third base, and I'm using it. I did get a nice shot of Pete jumping on top of the dugout. It's probably my best shot from my first time on the field. But things were pretty laid back then. That's how it was. But I kind of got creative with it, looking through the camera a little different, like through an artist would. The composition's the biggest thing. You had the Enquire people down there, the Post, UP, AP, all those guys were all down there, all using Nikon. Man, I said, this is great stuff. But they helped me out, okay? And I wasn't really used to it. But that's where it kind of started at. Again, my background was in graphics and design. Went to Elder High School, got a scholarship to the Art Academy of Cincinnati, and that's how I got in TV. Channel 9 hired artists from the Art Academy. So I'm going to school. Here I am, Art Academy during the day, going to Channel 9 at night, working in the art department, working with Uncle Al. Okay, everybody knows who Uncle Al is.
Oh yeah.
And guess what?
Definite classic from Cincinnati.
That is so cool.
Yeah, it's me being on West Side on this side of town. Uncle Al invited me New Year's Day to his house back in 1970 something with
Did
my
he-
60 Volkswagen I drove.
Do you know what year it was about?
It was in the 70s.
Like 8, 9, somewhere around there. I didn't know if he talked about me at the dinner table or anything. That year, 'cause I was 3 when I won the dance contest.
I did, and I won my first art contest on his show. I drew a turkey
With
with my hands.
The hand
The
turkey.
hand turkey. Everybody knows about that. A hand turkey. Okay, drew it. My mom sent it in, and I win. I had to take 2 buses to get my prize, my art prize, which is coloring pencils or something. Take 2 buses. Got sick on the second bus, down 8th and State. Had to transfer everybody off the bus. Little Billy Renken gets his first art contest on the Uncle Al show, drawing the turkey.
That's hilarious.
Yes, absolutely. And
Something
then,
anyone can draw.
Pretty
Just
much,
trace
yeah.
your hand. You got a turkey.
and people are aware of that.
We were
too.
both artistic then, and we were both winners on the Uncle Al show.
Well, and Uncle Al had
for
the
God's
house.
We
in
should
Watch
get a
Hill.
we should get a
And-
photograph
Watch-
together.
Watch Hill.
Put this
Anderson
up.
Township.
Hey,
That's where he
Watch
lived.
Hill. I got invited, and I was the last one to leave. I was drinking UD Delight. Okay.
See, you and I are like the same people because I am normally the one that
What's a
overstays
West Side
my
guy
welcome.
doing on Salem Avenue? Ted Klaszewski comes in. He had Miss
Big
America.
parties at his house back then.
I know, big time. It was like, man, here I am, and I got my vest on and my flowered shirt, and like, man, I don't know
Like
how
the
I fit
Gatsby's.
in. Man, I was, yeah.
But wait a minute,
khaki.
you were back on Salem Avenue back
Yes.
in the day. I guess because I was going to bust your chops a little bit because you called Jason a little while ago, coming over from the West Side.
You know how long
Couldn't
ago?
figure out how to get to the Varsity Sports Bar. And for those of you who don't know, here in Cincinnati, there's a big. It's not really a feud, but it's just I don't know, like a gamesmanship
Yep.
between the East Side and the West Side. And the thing is, if you're an East Sider and you go over to the West Side, most people have no clue how to find their way around. Same thing with West Siders who come over here to the East Sider, and there was a phone call. Hey, I'm on Beachfront Avenue. Which way do I go?
We always say make sure you have a valid passport and no
Yeah.
fruits or vegetables in your vehicle because the Border Patrol will stop you.
Your
Yes,
palms start
I've been-
sweating if you cross the other I-75, right? And you're like, oh
Yes,
my God,
it's
this
the
is
big
getting weird.
drawbridge right
This is
there
getting
to
weird.
get you back to the West Side. But you know what? It's always good, and that's my experience on Salem Avenue. And with all due respect, I came to Jim and Betty's funeral.
Yeah.
Okay, over here, and I was in line with Tommy Helms, and that I was able to find that okay on a very serious note.
We can't thank you enough for coming over. I've heard a ton about this is our first time meeting, but I've heard a ton about you through my brother, over the years, and I can't thank you enough for coming on. And I'm excited to hear a lot of the stories. I mean, I highlighted in our little preview, obviously, a huge one with the OJ stuff. So we'll get into that, but I can't thank you enough for coming over.
Hey, you're quite welcome. It's all about opportunity, and I'm gonna tell you, if I had a T-shirt made up, opportunity for me, and you still got to make the best of it. Opportunity is what it's all about.
Yep.
I don't matter what side of town you're in, you get that opportunity. And guess what? Because I knew Mark, and now got to know you guys and Dan Carroll from back in the day.
Back in the day,
Back in the day, Dan Carroll did the exclusive.
that was 1995.
Around 90.
I was at your house.
at my house. And
That's
I got
unbelievable, man.
I don't know. We got the pictures.
I looked
always
good
show
back
it.
then, too.
He looked clean. You know what? He's got
looked good.
he's got a face for radio now.
Now I do. Yeah, back then I had a face for
then,
TV.
He had that
TV.
3-piece suit on.
Hey,
Dan, I wouldn't go that far, Dan.
Come on
that
now.
you ever had a face for TV. Come on.
Nah, but East Side, West Side, no matter what part of town you're in, when it comes to real estate across Cincinnati or around the world, the two names to trust are Comey and Shepherd Realtors and Carrie Wolfangle. Everyone wants a realtor who knows the market, but for Carrie, it is a lot more than that. Her business is built on a relationship of honesty and trust. Carrie Wolfangle has been recognized with many of the highest awards in the industry, and she is the only real estate agent that we recommend. If you or maybe someone you know is interested in buying, selling, moving in, or moving out, you want to contact our friend Carrie Wolfangle. You see the number on your screen, 513-265-3125 or kwolfangle@comey.com. Your road home, except for Bill, starts At Wolfangle.
Just a couple shout outs real quick. Good job reading again, Dan. I mean, the improvement is second to none. Love it. Your ability and the phonetics are really working.
I told you it's like 3 stepbrothers. That's why we love it.
Falconator, it does grow thicker over time, but thank you for that and a Selleck reference. I think I'm going to wear a floral shirt when I go down to Clayton.
Selleck reference.
And short shorts.
It's more like Goose Gossage, I think.
You need to go rent.
You really
need
are,
to go
dude.
rent a Ferrari too.
You're getting delusional now. You know that. The Selleck reference.
Wait till those drugs kick in on the trip down there, Dano. Speaking of delusional, and thank you, Falconator. I appreciate that. Dead leg, good to see you, or not see you, but see that you're on. And can't wait to meet him personally in person.
Yeah, so we're all going down to there's another podcast that has kind of taken us under their wing per se. I think that's a fair reference to a point. Have given us a ton of feedback and advice since we've started. And so all 3 of us and my girlfriend are going down to Clayton, North Carolina to go hang out with them. And, they're going to be down for 3 days. We're going to be down for 5.
Get highly intoxicated.
Hang out. There will be a lot of alcohol, probably.
What a shame.
Yeah, it's going to be terrible. It's going to be a terrible time.
Failure to stop. And Eric Tanzi has a distillery.
Our buddy Tansy owns a distillery.
Yeah,
A
rum.
rum.
Are you going to get a tour?
Well, we're going to get a lot more than that, I think.
But
Baptism.
a lot of the comments that you see on the right-hand side of the screen are followers of theirs or Dead Leg Media. It's his handle. He works hand in hand with them. So they tune into ours. Mm-hmm. They throw comments. We tune into theirs. So it's a good. And you were talking about opportunities and just networking.
Right.
These guys have been fantastic. Their fan base has accepted us. So it's been a fun journey, and we're coming up on a year for us. So it's been exciting. I mean, I didn't think we'd be video.
We still got 2 more months before we come up on a year that we actually remember doing podcasts.
that we were
too
actually doing
intoxicated.
it somewhat
Do
decent.
the first ones count? I don't know.
We were hammered, man.
Well, Jason, when Bill, I called Jason one day, and Bill had called me when Will had got committed to Hillsdale. So that was, and he had followed him through the football. So we got to talking, and over the years, obviously, stayed
Will
in
is
contact.
Mark's son, my nephew.
Yep. So
The Eric Anderson Raptors.
They're Redskins. They're always
Don't
Redskins.
get me started on that.
yeah,
It really is.
that's a sore spot.
Yes,
Boy,
it
of
is.
all names, Raptors. Wow.
It's sad.
But anyway, we were
That's
talking.
negative towards dinosaurs. You can't say that nowadays. It's 2023.
Yeah,
Crying out loud.
it looks like the Anderson Barneys, which is unfortunate
Yeah,
for everybody that's
It's
going
like they
there.
let my 9-year-old draw the mascot. I mean, it is just, you would think it'd be more scary.
The turkey you drew for Uncle Al's probably more fearsome than that. I mean,
It's hard to
for
believe.
God's
That's the
sake.
best
Boy,
they
how
come up with,
how
really.
valuable
Yeah.
that would be today if I still had that. Dang.
the fact that you guys the history that you two have, Mark and Bill. I mean, the history that you have, and just the stories that I've heard.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I got this from Bill, and I gave this to Bill. Just
Yeah.
trading off and again networking.
Well, 2 friends. It was one of those things.
Yeah, you create a friendship there, and that's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and I keep things close to home. Okay,
Yeah,
I don't do anything on website, handshake and a beer. Hey Bill, can you help me or to make a phone call? Can you get a picture of Hulk Hogan and Pete Rose that I shot from back in the day? Yeah. Some of the WWF guys that we hung out with, The Rock and my boys. And,
we had a great time.
Great time. So opportunity right there. It really is just a handshake away.
Well, that was our first one. I think the McMahon with Stephanie and the son. We got back and had a gentleman that worked for me in the mortgage industry, was a retired police officer whose brother was Al Snow, and he used to have that mannequin deal, and that was how we started. So many things
Al
we go
Snow.
back to, but and then had Pete Rose in for our mortgage company, did the advertising.
Do you remember him?
Yeah,
Pete Rose, yeah.
No, Al Snow.
Yeah.
yeah.
So he was in WWF for a small piece, but I was fortunate enough through him to meet him and his brother, and just a typical gimmick guy. He had this mannequin head that he'd get in the middle of the ring and start
Made millions off of it.
But it was fun to watch it. But the guys that these two got to meet and get pictures with, and then we were just looking at some before we started.
We're going to look at something.
We didn't. We got screwed. We got screwed, is what I'm saying. I should have become a goddamn fireman.
He was too
I should have
young.
done some other things.
I think that's what you are, right?
Yeah.
I got your background, fireman, right?
Yep.
Where at?
Uh,
Part of town.
it's over toward your way a little bit. I won't say where.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. All right.
but he was too young to go
was
to
back-
these fundraisers and these establishments.
Yeah,
that
I
we
was
would go
young.
to,
I mean,
unfortunately.
Mark is my older brother. In case you can't tell via camera, he is my older brother.
In person, you might debate that, but that's what it is. But no, make a long story short, when we were talking, I had told him about the podcast and with Rob and telling him, his background, former police officer, prosecutor, all that good stuff, and we've been around a lot of law enforcement over the years, things that we did, fundraisers, whatnot, but having Pete in for the advertising. But what was interesting was when I talked about Dan and telling about Jason, I said about Dan, and you told me from the OJ Simpson trial when you were sitting at home at 10 o'clock at night, and you made the call to Marcia Clark out there. But what got me the idea to get you on
Don't jump
here
ahead,
was,
Mark.
but what got me in here was that you said Dan Carroll had come out. So we'll wait to have
Whoa,
that.
you finally
He came
did.
out for the interview from WXIX Channel 19. He was the
Congratulations,
he was the
Daniel.
personality there.
You're,
He's got the pictures. He's got the pictures to prove it,
You're
man.
accepted.
picture.
You're accepted.
Coming
thank you.
out.
Damn,
And that's what got me. I said, I got to get you guys back together.
It was actually a very uncanny connection.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know that Dan had interviewed him. I
'Cause
don't think
when
Dan. I don't think Dan doesn't remember yesterday, but so I'm not
Well,
sure he remembered
well,
it.
you showed me the pictures, and I honestly do not have a memory of being at your house and doing that.
I'm not
But I
wrong.
do know
I'm not wrong.
after we did that, we would run into each other at a golf outing or different events.
Right.
Through the years, yeah.
It just gets teed
But
up.
I mean,
It
all
gets
that
teed
stuff
up, you
gets
gotta hit
washed
it.
away in the men. But that's the thing. Looking through just a quick glance, I took a look at your portfolio there.
Portfolio, yeah.
But
my little book, yeah.
It's amazing. I mean, you ever sit and reflect on this? The amount of Cincinnati history that you have captured. That
You have no idea what he has.
and just that quick look at some of the photos I had there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's so many stories and so much history in that little book you have right there. It's amazing.
Yeah, and that's what I like about it. Things are kind of close to home, where I live out on the west side, but here I'm on the east side now, and we're sharing so many unique stories. I mean, I told you on the phone, that Dan Carroll's in my damn portfolio book.
I said, well,
It's a small world. It's a small world.
I said I'd burn that portfolio if I were you.
I would
Hey,
not
you
acknowledge that, Bill.
You never know.
I'm just
You
kidding.
know what? Because
No,
I
they-
get
We
a lot-
love Dan.
Some
We
of
do
those
love
pictures,
Dan.
those pictures got to make it on our website so people can see I'm not full of shit.
No, they know you are.
The young Dan, yes.
But it was. I
Yeah.
don't remember how we got Dan over our house.
Swave, and DeBoner.
I guess, or whatever it was. Yeah.
What?
Hey,
He just came out. Remember?
It's a joke. It's a joke.
yeah. Hey, I did get Betsy Ross to come over. Everybody knows Betsy
She
Ross.
used to.
It's amazing. The picture you have of her, and that was from back in that same time period.
Yeah.
She looks the same today as she did back then.
She used to rent a house. She lived in a two-family down here on Bennett. And
Really?
My dad owned. I think he owned the house, a two-family. It was behind Tower View, didn't she? No, the bar down there on
Yeah.
Salem?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes. In Mount Washington, yes.
It was on. I think it was Bennett. But I'm gonna hit Bill real quick, and then I'm gonna call you out on something because this is the one that intrigued me, and we're gonna start at the top and work backwards. Is that okay?
I like it. I
You
like
did
that
this with
idea.
Bronson Arroyo. I watched it last night.
What's
You
that?
called Bronson out on something.
Well, he had like
Oh,
he had a man crush on Bronson.
No.
Oh, no, it's about the
because you were sitting
numbers.
like this. Because you were sitting
He
like
was right
this.
next to
You
me,
were
man.
sitting like this. I've never seen you do
There was
that.
no bromance.
Yeah.
Not like with me
don't-
and
don't-
Deadleg.
Don't interrupt your bromance with Deadleg.
Yeah, don't call it out with Bronson, man. When he's watching, I can see him commenting.
I didn't know he was married.
Oh,
said
it's
he had
good.
to
We both
take
have
dinner.
secrets then.
I know.
I'm married. and
No,
he's
I'd
not
seen
going
him
to tell
around.
his
He
wife.
made the
I'm not going to
rounds.
tell my wife.
He lived in Mount Adams,
Yeah.
right?
I believe that's a fairly newer. I'm not positive. I didn't do that big of a research on him.
We didn't jump on Facebook.
I wasn't sure either until he said, "Hey, I'm
got
good
to
until I
go.
got to take
I
my
gotta
wife.
take her to dinner.
I got to take my wife to
Like
dinner. You know what? You need to leave then because I don't want you in trouble because of us. Get out."
Hey, Bill, we
So
do
hit
a
it.
quick
Go ahead.
history
Yeah, go ahead.
segment.
Yeah.
And before today is history, I want to hit a couple of things. I'm not going to hit a lot of them. One, Dan's favorite politician, Nancy Pelosi, turns 83 today.
Oh my God!
Happy birthday, Nancy. Dan will be sending you a card if you don't already have
That
it.
just ruined the mood.
Yeah, why would you do that?
My God!
It's this day in history.
And Rich, who is silently sitting over here from Engraved in USA, pointed out
Engraved in USA. What great friends they've been of this show.
boxing champ Mike Tyson was sentenced to 6 years in prison today following a rape conviction in 1992.
Ooh, that was a good one.
Did he go to the same
good one.
prison that Pete Rose was in?
No.
Was that-
Pete was in Joliet.
Okay.
In Indiana. I'm thinking Joliet. I'm pretty sure. I think.
I think he
Illinois.
was.
Joliet's Illinois.
Illinois.
Tyson was in Marion, wasn't he,
Okay.
in Indiana?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, all right. Then I had that mixed up.
I know I mix it up too.
And you know what? Yesterday.
That was a good one,
So
though.
that's it.
You've
That's
been to
it.
one prison, you've been to them all.
Right.
No, thank you.
That is today in history, ladies and gentlemen. Hopefully, my hangover becomes history today very soon.
Just keep drinking through it.
Oh my God!
You'll
But
be
Bill,
fine.
you went back and watched that Bronson Arroyo podcast.
I watched it last night.
How
watched
great,
it last night. It was
how
very
great were
good.
some of the stories that guy had? He was amazing. Wasn't
Well, like Ken Bruce said, listen to WLW. You're part of that.
he? Yep.
The radio. I listen to it when I'm working, sorting. And Ken Brew brought it up, said my 2 best interviews are with Bronson Arroyo and
Pete Rose.
thank you very much.
Pete Rose, always a great interview.
Because you know
Always
what?
great.
We're still working on him.
I love when I did doing the pictures. I've got a lot of pictures of guys doing interviews, sports guys, all the guys, Don Burrows, John Popovich, Walt Mayer, Steve Esposito, Lonesome George Vogel, all going out to the pasture now. You know what I mean? Got a new breed of different things. But
New regimes.
new regime. But I'd like to listen to guys outside the box, like Bronson was so good.
And he flowed. He flowed.
Yes, he
like
did.
we hit a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
good baseball stories, but then going into his music and then just him like mentally getting into the music stuff. I think that was as interesting. I mean, we all want to know the behind the scenes of the baseball players or the
Right.
football players
Yeah.
or the people we see on TV.
Yeah.
But to hear he's a very intelligent man,
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
very gifted. Obviously, I mean he picked the guitar up late, and I mean he can play a guitar pretty well. I think he sold himself short in my opinion. We hang out with a bunch of musicians. Bronson's he's pretty good, especially for picking up as late as he did.
Yeah.
Right.
But he just flowed into story after story after story.
He is such a nice guy. He's so laid back. I never met him. He walks in solo and no entourage, nothing. It's just him. And I go, hey, I'm Rob. Nice to meet you. How long do we have you for? He's like, however long. Okay, cool. We thought there was going to be a restriction. And what topics are no-goes? He's like, we can talk about whatever. I was like, okay, sweet. That's easy.
Ding, ding,
And
round
it
one.
started,
Wow.
and the stories were awesome.
Yeah.
But
Sorry you didn't get the same consideration, Bill.
I know. I walked in solo too, and I said, "Am I here? Where is it? Am I?
hey, Bill,
really
hey, Bill,
here?"
I was gonna jump on this with Mark, but Dan can't keep his damn mouth shut.
Remember where he's at? He's from radio.
I know.
Okay.
And he normally flies solo on the radio, but he forgets he has other people here. But Mark was saying you're kind of like family to him. When I walked out there and was looking around for somebody that I'd never met you, I was like, geez, give me a description. Mm-hmm. You were there. You were holding your stuff, and I was like, that's got to be him. Hi, I'm Rob. Hi, I'm Bill. And immediately talking, nicest guy ever. It could be an attribute to you and your personality because you are ingratiating and nice and giving, and made me feel like we'd known each other for 30, 40 years as well. So
Well, it was kind of.
I appreciate that.
No, here's like even though I'm into photography now. I do a lot of stuff on the west side, picture wise for kids and stuff, and I still enjoy it. People want to retire because I have a great time doing it.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
And you know what? I'm into like my son Brad. I'm into people business.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You guys do people. Sure, I'm doing the pictures. I'm shooting it. We're yucking up, seeing guys I haven't seen. I hadn't seen them in a year. I had bladder cancer. I'm close to 3 years out of that, and I'm back.
Great.
And I'm back.
Congratulations.
It's
Yeah,
called.
it's huge.
It's
That's
my doc.
awesome.
I'm the new norm. Is what they call it. And the technology has been phenomenal. I've been fine, and me and Mark talked about it, and I'm been back, and sure, the COVID really kind of gave me a timeout because nothing was going on. It was
Right.
Schools, right? Nothing was happening. So, but I was able to go and sort pictures, sort stuff out. I'm pretty anal. I can go right to that book. You know what I mean? Okay, Oak Hills called the other day. They need a picture of Hep Cronin. Hep Cronin, because
Nick's dad. Yeah.
Okay,
Still there.
so I do the Hall of Fame banquet at receptions in I think Fairfield. I think it's out. Do it. So I had these West Side legends. Dick Howkey, former AD. You went to UC, played basketball. We got Hep Cronin in the middle and Mike Price, all three of them legends, basically. So I said, yeah, and I was able to go to the Mike Price file, and my wife took it up to him, and he was able to crop them out. I don't know what CBS was going to do, okay, with it. So other than that,
Well, think about the Stags. Like we would
The
go
Stags.
to the Tim Nearing. We would do. You've done weddings. You've done every sports from high school to college. You've done Little League. But as far as we think about the fundraisers and things with Ruby and like I said, we had Pete come in and all the stuff we did. But if I needed Brooks Robinson, we'd have it set up. We needed Johnny Bench, Joe Morgan. Tim Nearing would do those LaSalle Sports Stags for one example.
Yeah.
Bill had it. But if you ever could imagine, the collection that he has is phenomenal. From having Ty Cobb, Hall of Fame. I've got unique stuff, and Jason can tell you back in the day when I had the square footage for it was a little too much. But that whole basement, I was into a lot of the old time black and whites, Crosley Field, a lot of the old stuff. And with Jim Whatnot, all the different players, and we had that basement we had. Who was when you think about, we had Tracy Stollard, Tommy Helms. Who was the Big Red Machine? The Big Red Machine coach before Sparky? That slipped my mind. He was in the basement that day. But just people that you had. We played golf at Colstrom. We came back and we're in the basement. But I had those photos were up there, Tommy and Pete. And Tommy sat there, and I got to have a friendship with him over time. We played a lot of golf.
Yeah, Tommy's
together.
from the West Side, by the way.
And Tracy Stoller was the one that gave up Roger Maris' 61st home run.
Correct.
He came and stayed at my place a couple of times. Had him up. He was from North Carolina.
I remember that.
But Bill had all that, the documentation. Anything was documented, including Caroline and Will's my 24-year-old and 18-year-old's baptisms.
I did their baptism, right? Yeah.
So his work is amazing. If Bill says he's going to be on, if he's going to be there at a certain time, he's always early. He's old school, like you said. It's a handshake. But you have done work all across this city for some reason.
Yeah, and the amount of people. I didn't mean to cut you off. The amount of people that you have met, rubbed elbows with, taken photographs of. Whether anybody tuning in isn't a sports fan, you have to appreciate, some of the legends. The names.
What about crime fans?
Crime fans.
People might be crime fans. We go that kind of marry the two, sports and crime.
That's going to be a big one.
Yeah, OJ was signing autographs in jail.
That's the story I want to get to.
He was signing. I was going to tell you this because I'll be straight up. Deal with CEI Sports, Charles Soto. They handle all the Big Red Machine guys, and they do my framing. It's one of the labs I use. I use Dodd camera, which is out in Kenwood, CEI, and Robin Imaging is down on the Parkway. Those three, and plus I know those guys personally. But to put those guys together, okay, in doing that is pretty strong, okay, and that's how bringing all those guys together. Really.
Mickey Mantle, you got me a Mickey Mantle piece. You name it, I've wanted that he would have it for you. And we've had.
I've been to Mickey Mantle's house.
Yes, with Merle.
Shit.
We're gonna.
You ready for this? I was working at Channel 12. Pete Barrett, my former promotion director, I worked at from Channel 9. I went to 12. Got the name my own salary back then. They were looking for photographer, artist. And everybody knew everybody in the circle, 5, 9, and 12. A guy named Kurt Mitchell, who directed the news at Channel 9, came over to 12. And this is when they had some situations. It was me and Uncle Al. Uncle Al was getting paid.
Did you guys call him Uncle Al in the office?
No.
That's kind of weird.
Al
I
Lewis.
think grown men calling each other Uncle Al.
No, Uncle. That's it.
You called him Uncle?
Yes. Yeah.
And he wasn't twisting your arm behind your back.
Not at all, sir. Not at all. Yeah, right. Yeah, we can get rid of the humor in there. We can go with the Uncle Al.
I just think it would be weird. If he was Uncle Al, me calling, hey, Uncle Al, hey, it's like, wow.
He made a lot of money being Uncle Al. Made a lot of money.
And whatever it was. So I had an opportunity to go to Channel 12 when they got a new regime over there, and Kurt Mitchell called me and met with the powers to be, and that's how it got going over at 12. So, but then getting back to like the OJ thing.
I want to start at the beginning.
That was
on
in.
the OJ.
It was all goes down to January 6, 1991.
We're going to merge fashion, sports, crime, and punishment.
Yes,
With this story, and we got a photograph that's awesome. But I want you to tell it like we've never heard of it, because when he was telling me about this, I was like, "Are you kidding me?" The photographs and everything else that you have. Mm-hmm. I was like, holy cow, that is
trial of the
awesome.
century.
Yes, and everybody, there are younger people that listen. Like I tell clients, I don't know what a jury trial is going to do. You remember OJ, and they're like 26. Oh, who the hell is OJ? Oh,
right, yeah, but
God.
Demographics,
Yes.
of people that
captured the world.
Know it, Okay, I'm 73. All right, yeah, it was in '95 when Dan Carroll came to my house in 1995.
Young buck
back then,
young man,
looking to move on, man.
Oh, you're older than Dan?
Quite a bit.
Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah.
Somebody's got to be older than Dan. Okay.
Thank God.
I thought God was.
Doesn't
Dirt.
happen that often.
But I hired a friend of mine took the pictures.
I think Marty Brennan might be a little bit older than me.
Yeah.
He
So
looks
that's
younger.
Yeah, that's how it really got going. Is it? I was doing a playoff game when they played the Houston Oilers. If anybody remembers
Yes.
Houston Oilers,
Earl Campbell, baby.
Earl Campbell and the boys.
Yep.
They won. Bengals won, I think, 44-10 at playoff. First playoff game they won, not counting this past year's.
Right.
Back then, January 6, 91, beat the Houston Oilers 44-10. Post game interview. All right, OJ's. Well, let's go before the game. I did stuff with the Boathouse, the Gregory's. Okay. Hey, Bill, OJ was in last night. Got some chicken and ribs. If you see him and you have a picture, can you get it signed? Well, guess what? When I was at Channel 12, I inherited a lot of photos.
Right.
I got to keep everything when I got laid off. Okay. Pete said, take what you want. OJ's leaning against the goalpost all by himself. I went out to my car, got the picture, brought it in, and I said, hey, Juice, can you sign this? You were at the Boathouse last night. He goes, yeah, man, I had some great chicken and ribs. Man, they were great. I said, would you mind signing this to the Gregory's? And right there, he signed it. I took it back to the car. Okay.
So cool.
Yeah, but things were laid back. It was pretty relaxing. No
Right.
big deal.
So different back then.
It was so, so we do the game. You shoot the game action. Todd Christensen, may he rest in peace. He passed on. Him and OJ worked together. We had the rain, and you just shoot it. Okay, you just shoot the picture, and then post game interview. Sam White's told me this. He was the Oak Hill Stag about 5 or 6 years ago before he passed away. And I told you guys about it, that OJ wanted to switch. Sam had these Bengal Tiger gloves, and the Juice wanted to wear them during the interview. Gee, it was kind of funny, but OJ could not get the gloves off his hand. And Jesse Jackson, who's like the floor director, ain't got time, Juice. We got to get out here. Everything's timing. You
Yeah.
know how it is?
I know Jesse. Yeah.
Jesse, yeah.
And everything's on a schedule, I'm sure.
Schedule, right. Let's get out of here. We got to get it. So we just shoot the pictures. Then we have pictures, me and this guy named Rick Fogel. He couldn't find his negatives. I did.
Should I show it now? Or should I? No, I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and let you continue this,
Okay.
and then I'll.
Yeah. So, we shot it, and then we took our picture, each of us. Rick, I shot a picture of Rick. He looked like canary all in yellow, but it was raining that day. The weather was not good. Then I went out in my wetsuit, got a picture of me and the Juice, and we went on with our lives, And all of a sudden, we find out through this other guy that, hey, Renken, you better check your pictures. His wife bought the gloves and the shoes. Now, he didn't wear the shoes that game. He wore the gloves.
I thought he was. I misunderstood. I
Bruno
thought he
Malley's,
was.
weren't more than that
No,
height.
the Bruno Malley's, I've got traded pictures with the guy, Harry Skull. We traded.
You testified the same day, I believe. I believe you guys did. I thought.
No, he never. Harry Skull never testified.
Okay.
Not when I was there. Okay. He tried to get me on Geraldo's show.
That's
I
okay.
couldn't do it.
Yeah.
I almost was on the Howard Stern show too. Yes, Howard Stern. I had to turn that down, but I can't go into detail how I almost.
You imagine
got
the
offered
stories you would have to tell if you went on the Howard Stern show?
with somebody else. Yeah. Somebody that invited me.
We'll talk when we're done.
Yeah, I can tell you a little more. Yeah, but I said nope,
That's
can't
fair
do
enough.
it. I'm married, yeah, for sure. So that's how it kind of rolled, with that part. So then in turn, somebody calls me and says, well, you know what, this guy, I won't get into names, but he said, hey, Renken, he goes, I'll go half on you. Give me half if I send your pictures out and all that stuff. I said, you ain't getting nothing, man. So I took it upon myself to send pictures. I called Brian Goldberg, who's my agent. He's the agent for Ken Griffey Jr.
Attorney,
I knew of an attorney, and he said, yeah, Bill, you should be good. Just go ahead, talk to him. And there were 16 pictures of the Juice from that playoff game. They wanted 5 sets. Okay.
And those gloves that was a special set of gloves.
There was only, get this, they were made in Cincinnati, Eris.
Yeah, you believe
There
that?
was only 200 pairs made.
They're made here.
Made here in Cincinnati.
That's
the president of Eris testified in the trial before I got out there and said Rankin's photos that I sent to him are the ones that he was wearing. So
The most famous gloves ever were
Yes,
made in
and-
Cincinnati.
Only 200
Yes.
made.
it's,
See,
it's on the
I
back.
can't believe I
It's on
never
the-
knew that story.
It's on the back of the
That is. Did
And
you
this
know
picture.
that?
And the
I
shoes.
did not.
I had no idea.
shoes. Were
Shoes were limited
That's
edition
why we
as
have
well.
him on, Dan,
Right.
so he can tell the story.
That's
Shoes
a
were
great
limited
story.
edition. Shoes were limited edition. But again, his wife, who he murdered, Cole, she bought them shoes and gloves. Christmas,
Yes.
1990. He wore them at a Bengals game, January 6th of 91. Okay, so and from there, sending the pictures out. Talked to Brian a little more about it. It's all good. Took about a month for it to get in place because there were 8 other photographers. Once they got through me, they didn't need the other 4. Okay, where'd the other 4 end up at? We took them with a guy named Mike Romano that shot for the Raiders and 49ers. We're down in the bar restaurant doing Long Island iced teas. Okay, all right. Yeah.
As you should.
As we should, yeah. Compliments of the prosecution, I guess.
Thank you, LA.
LA District Attorney.
They were at $7 million when I flew out. Okay, and then they lost all the stuff that I sent to them. They lost it.
Bill, who called you at home? Was it you got a call at home though about when they?
Yeah, right. It was Patty Jo Fairbanks. She was not big. She was like the hub. She would set me up with the plane, the tickets, where you're going to stay,
Yeah, the
all that stuff.
logistical manager, essentially.
Is that what they? Okay.
I mean,
Marsha Clark and
essentially.
Darden. Yeah, she worked for Darden and
Right.
Marsha Clark.
She worked for prosecution.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for the LA.
So she told me, like, you know, when I here's the deal. Go down. You're going to go down to Delta. You're going to do this. Get the tickets. And all that. You're going to fly out. But I was doing a Bengals Jaguars game. My family came down and picked me up at halftime. I told David Cole, who worked for AP, I said, Dave, you want to shoot a picture of me? What for, Rankin? He goes, I'm going to the L.A. trial. He goes, you're kidding me. Just shoot the photo, okay? Just shoot it.
I'm going to Hollywood, baby.
I'm going to L.A., man, on
big
West
time.
Side.
You went to
I gotta
Hollywood
tell you,
before it was Hollywood.
So in turn, you know.
That's true West Side right there, man. Hollywood.
My family's waiting out. We're at Riverfront Stadium at gate 13 with my 2 boys, and they take me to L.A., and I fly out, and Patty Jo Fairbanks says, hey, when you get there, Bill, you're going to get a purple van. So I look for the purple van. I get in. I'm the only guy, and he's got broken ink, can't understand him. So
Sounds like human trafficking going on.
it was
You're gonna get
something.
in a purple
Guess
van.
what? I think that's
Don't
what-
ask any questions.
because he kept he goes, because Marsha was supposed to call me at the hotel to go over the question, the Q&A, before I went on the stand.
Right.
What does she know about film and camera and stuff? And I understand. So he kept driving around the goddamn airport. I go, wait a minute. Wait, I got to get to the hotel.
Yeah.
No, man, I got to pick people up, man. I got some more people to pick up. Okay. But she never called, got to the hotel, got to the mini bar, kind of settled down, you know. Like, you know, going from the west side to here, you know, it's almost the same way, okay? Same, I had to get here.
It's like a foreign country.
What does he
Foreign
ask?
country, you have no idea.
Bill, what kind of beer you want?
Do you want something to drink?
You want something to drink?
Do they speak
Yes.
English here?
So I
It's
get
like
there.
we just walked out of an AA
Yeah.
meeting together.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and that's when I got the call at like 7 in the morning the next day when I was supposed to testify. And again, I set the negatives, a set of prints, and a blank invoice. And the guy, I can't remember, he was low man on the poll, said, hey, Bill, we got a problem. We lost all your pictures you sent. I go, what? It was already screwed up enough.
Writing could have been on the wall there about the verdict coming out.
You got it right. So in turn,
That's true.
I called. He says, "Well, I've got a set of negatives, and I've got this because I did the Cunningham show." And what's Cunningham asked me the first time? What kind of nylons was Marsha wearing, Bill?
Not shocked.
You know, and it's crazy, Bill, because here's the deal. For those of you that don't know, or I'm going to give you a quick rundown. It was June 12th, 1994, Nicole Brown Simpson. OJ's estranged wife at the time was out with Ronald Goldman to dinner. Both ended up dead. Knife attack, a lot of blood, bloody scene, and there were some footprints. And Kato Kalin, I want to get him on the show. That would be hilarious.
That would be so good.
When
Is
I
he
did
still
this
alive?
Yes,
Yeah.
I
Is
want
he?
to tell you this. No, I mean interrupt you, but one of the guys, the producers from WLW, that helped Trumpy out.
Doug Kidd
Called me
Yeah.
and said, "Hey, Bill, you want to come over and do the Jim Beam Stakes at Turfway?" We already got a Jim Beam photographer. I said, "But Jerry Carroll's flying in Cato." Did you guys know this?
No.
Yeah, I got the pictures. Okay. I got them. Okay,
He's
I
got
got yours. So here I go, yeah, that's pretty cool. So, you know, Ken Brew was there, got him and Cato together. He goes, I don't know if I want that picture or not. But Cato was there. You know, okay, Harry Hamlin, Wayne Newton.
Oh, geez.
Wayne
Newton.
Was there that day.
And
He was after a Griswold.
Linda
wife.
Evans and Ruby was there.
This is back when Brew was at 5?
Brew
at
was
Channel
at
5?
I think he was at 5.
That's a long time ago.
Long time ago, yeah. Because he did them all, too. almost. He's been around except 19.
Yeah, he never
so
worked till 19,
Brew
yeah.
was there and a couple other people I knew. So here I am with the camera just shooting away. And I hear this guy yelling, "Hey, Renken, did you make any money off my photo?" It was Boomer. Boomer and Riggs were at a table, and I went, "Yeah." Just like, "Yeah, did you make any money off my?" I go, "Yeah, I did." I didn't go up and say, "Yeah, man, it was great, Boomer, man."
Thanks,
I did
Boomer.
a lot. Yeah, right, yeah, for sure. So
You should have said. You should have said, "Who are you?"
it was kind of from.
Do I know? Do I know you?
So Nicole and Ronald were
Okay,
killed,
yeah.
and it took a little bit of time, but eventually, not a little bit of time, to drive with
with Al Calix.
in the white Bronco. Jesus,
And Goldman was a waiter though, but she was in the restaurant. He just happened to be. He brought her glasses back to the house.
Yes.
Supposedly.
Supposedly.
But
I don't know.
Either way, but he wrong place, wrong time to meet OJ.
So I'm gonna put this picture. I'm gonna put the picture up on the screen. It'll be delayed for us.
OJ was arrested. The trial started January 24th, 1995. It lasted till October 3rd, 1995. And I believe that was it was one of the first trials that was on court TV start to finish,
Yes.
because I remember watching it while in college when I was working at the Quencher drive-thru. selling
Everyone
beer.
was watching it.
Everybody was like, it was almost like people were like a soap opera for
It
some
was
people.
awesome.
Right? Yeah.
And describe the picture. Is that the pic you were
That's
you
the
were
picture.
alluding to?
That's the actual. That was actually before it was signed. And it was signed by a lot of the guys came in. Another West Side Story. I'll tell you in a minute. They came in the Joe Beth book. Johnny Cochran came there, the main guy, sweet guy.
Yeah.
I mean, just super guy. When I went up to him,
He was a hugger and a shoulder layer,
he,
man.
He had his wife with him. He goes, when I introduced him, he goes, "Oh, Mr. Renken, how's your business doing?" It's the first question. I'm serious.
Why, Johnny? You looking for
Johnny,
a
I
client?
said, "I'm doing fine." So we did the interviews, and I said, we did the book. He signed the book, and I said, "I got one more thing for you to document." I use the word document. Flip the dust cover over, and he goes, "That looks real familiar, Bill." I said, "Would you mind documenting it in the sky?" And you know what I'm talking about. He said, "I sure do. If you don't fit, they don't fit, you must acquit." Johnny Cochran. He did it right there.
That's awesome.
Unbelievable.
So it's
Again-
he's wearing the gloves though, right? These
I mean,
those are the gloves in the
are the
photographs
gloves. Yeah,
that-
those
that-
are the testimony of the president of Eris testified before I came out when he got to see, or just what if I sent. He got to see somehow the pictures got lost, but whatever he was able to, because I had a set.
And this is before internet, so it's not like they could just email you electronic
he brought
copies
a second
of
set.
this.
Always prepared, as I told you. Always prepared.
It's crazy because back in the day, the younger people don't know this, but back in the day, you couldn't just email or Dropbox or do anything else, airdrop an
Right.
electronic copy. You had to actually overnight
You had to
it.
physically mail them. Yeah.
That's where I was getting to, Dan.
And I had to
Thank
go
you,
to
buddy.
postage. I still mail stuff. I have
Yeah.
no problem because their stamps are available. I can put a stamp. Somebody don't sign a check made out to Bill Renken. That's the worst. People don't sign a check at the bottom. I'm sorry. I do checks in cash. Do a little bit of Venmo, maybe.
I like
but,
cash.
But you know what? No credit card, but cash still works. You go to a Reds game, you can't use cash anymore.
I
Gotta
hate
go.
that.
What is the deal?
I hate that.
Oh,
Terrible.
shit.
I'm
When we went to the
serious.
Bengals game, we got so pissed trying to get a beer.
Guess it? Can I tell you? Did the opening day parade, shot it, went in the game. Man, I get ready to get in the line, get a beer, a $9 beer. Okay, because I was thirsty, just like I was when I got here from the West Side.
You owe me
I was
$10,
thirsty.
by the way, Bill.
You can take a drink of that too.
Put that on my tab. Okay?
We'll send it
'Cause that's
to you.
old school.
I got a letter. I got an envelope and a
Yeah,
stamp.
I get in. I get in line. No, sir, we don't take cash. We only take credit cards.
Yeah.
And a guy had no credit card, no wallet. So I'm standing there going, "You got to be kidding me. What's the deal? Things are changing." So I see the guy in line. He goes to his wallet, and he's ready to pay for it. I said, "Sir, they don't take cash." And he says, "They do credit card." I said, "Hey, here's a 10, man. Can you give me a, can you give me a beer, man? Keep the change."
Do you know what this looks like?
That'll get
know
you a
what
half
that
beer
is?
Wait a
nowadays.
minute. There's no change from a $10 bill.
No.
Beer.
Not
Well,
even
I
a full
thought it
beer.
was
You got the better end of that
They'll
situation.
pour it out now. It's $12 a day.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
But you know what? It's not like but getting back to it, like with the
They brought
test-
you out to authenticate the photograph.
authentic
that you took the photograph.
Yeah, but
to make
here
it
I am.
admissible.
You got to hear this part. I'm on the stand. I did 48 minutes on the stand, longest of anybody, because I was the
iconic.
main guy.
That picture, I just put it back up. I took it off, but just so iconic because the biggest trial, or one of, because now we've got a whole bunch of bullshit going on in our
Right,
country
yeah.
now anyway. But
Yeah.
at the time of us growing up, that changed everything. Everybody knew where they were when that guy was laying down in the back of that Bronco for that, 2.5, 3 hours, however long. Everybody watching a car going down the road like ants moving down a plank. But everybody was in tune. Everybody was watching, and everybody watched a trial.
That case could have changed the entire country for a couple of reasons. One, court TV, it made people start focusing instead of Wapner and Judge Judy. I don't even know if Judy was there, but Wapner clearly was the people's court. Who gives a shit about $75? That was Springer-esque.
Judge Ito.
It was
Judge
Lance Ito.
Hey, Judge Ito. Hey, me and him are tight. I got.
You're tight with Ito?
Ito was. Yeah. Well, here's how I'm going to tell you how it was.
Yeah.
You know what a red herring is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You ever heard of that? I didn't know what it was. So I get cross-examined. I do all the other stuff. Here's the pictures. I'm looking at the pictures. Did you shoot this picture, Mr. Renken? I go, yeah. Okay. I'm looking right at it, yeah. So I got cross-examined by a guy named Robert Blazer that looked like Bob Newhart. Okay. All right. I'm serious. That's the only way I can
How
describe
did you keep
it.
from laughing? Bob
don't know.
Newhart's hilarious.
So
I had-
real quick,
Go,
dead leg in the comments. 4th grade, Mrs. Martin, watch them read the verdict live. Everybody knew.
Wow.
So
How about that?
somebody that's tuning in live right now knew exactly where he was. I mean, that's huge.
But
So hearing these stories from you direct,
It's bringing
that's why I was so excited about you coming in.
But
the
it
funny
also
thing-
gave us the Kardashians, which is a scourge. The OJ thing.
part about that though, the Kardashians weren't there when I was there. When I looked over at the dream, when I had it called a sidebar, I'm kind of just looking, around.
I don't think Kim was born yet.
No, I don't know. Whatever it
No.
was, this is sad though. OJ not a care in the world over there. I'm looking and I'm going, yeah. And I look and I went, wow, the Goldman, the dad and the daughter, just totally just strong.
Yeah.
I'm looking. I'm going, wow.
I thought his dad
It's going to really just like
I thought he was
boom,
hopping that
man.
rail, man.
He was going to come over because I've seen enough court TV where guys come over the railing kind of thing, and I'm going, man, he just bit his tongue on that one.
Did OJ look at you? I mean, did you guys make eye contact?
And he's a little over here.
Yeah.
I guess he kind of made a smirk on one thing because I don't remember everything I said, but let's go to the if you do. Bill Renken, you can go Bill Renken, OJ in the gloves.
Because you
Online.
had you and OJ already had this connection because he signed the photograph
That's a
for the
boathouse, right? Yeah.
to the Gregory's.
Yeah, but he didn't remember who I was.
He didn't remember you.
Probably not.
I
Like
wouldn't imagine. Yeah,
I don't think you imagine, even though he was just me one-on-one.
You interviewed this man and you barely remember.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying.
you were at his house and you have
I'm
no
just- I'm
recollection.
just busting
He was at
his balls.
5829 Cedar Ridge over in Green Township, which is on the west side. Dan Carroll. Can
had
you
no-
believe it?
yeah.
And as a
You
camera
got to
guy.
remember, I interviewed a lot of people back then. Every day it was something else.
Oh, gee, I was just every day.
Well,
so.
it's funny.
Wow,
Golly.
yeah.
But no, but
What
I'm
is
saying-
the deal?
But
I
I'm
know.
asking you about the OJ. Your
Okay,
OJ.
go ahead.
I never met OJ. I never was in the same room with OJ Simpson.
Yeah.
But I'm just trying to think.
Sure.
In your own mind, you're like looking at him. You're in proximity in the courtroom. Are you sizing him up, saying this guy did it, didn't do it? What was going through?
He
your
didn't
mind?
seem like, when they had the sidebar, when it's timeout, okay, then they meet. And I was kind of looking around. I'm going, he didn't seem to be really fazed by much at
Yeah.
all. He didn't seem to be phased at all by hardly what was going on, okay?
But that's
but
smirk and sarcasm.
Kardashian was not there then. I didn't know anything about him.
I think it was before. Didn't he go to his house or something?
He was
before
the original
arre-
attorney, but
the
he wasn't
arrest,
part of
yes.
the dream team. He was an original guy, but they kind
Yeah.
of put him
Well,
aside.
they were good friends,
and they were
right?
friends. That was
yeah,
a
he
big-
slowly
was
I think
was moved out of the
Kardashian-
group.
Is that when-
Kardashian had enough knowledge to get an actual dream team
Yes.
to represent
He put
OJ.
that
Well,
in.
Hey,
Kardashian wanted to do a settlement, and then that's why he was kind of, F. Lee Bailey and Dershowitz and all these guys, Cochran. They moved him out slowly because he was actually going to do a plea.
Yeah.
So it was kind of negotiating that, if I remember right, reading that. So Kardashian was kind of out of the picture during that trial.
I'm going to bring this up. F. Lee Bailey was on Cunningham's show, and he thinks that OJ was set up. He thinks that Van Adder, and I'm going to tell you this, Van Adder. I'll tell you
Is
in a
he the
minute.
racist
Van
one,
Adder?
though?
No. I'll tell you.
Furman.
Van
Dennis
Adder
Furman.
and what do you call it? Tom Lang. They were the two lead detectives.
Lang was
Okay.
the one I couldn't remember.
Yeah. So
Trying to research it.
he Bailey in the interview with Cunningham and said that Van Adder took the blood and threw it all over the place. I go, what? Yeah, he was like dead on that he was set up by Van Adder. That's
Well,
what
you-
F. Lee
See,
Bailey
I
said.
thought all that stuff had been debunked, though. All
that
those
don't
crazy
know.
theories.
Well, it's F. Lee
about,
Bailey, okay, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what they use
Well,
to
sure.
get him
I mean,
off.
he did the interview one on, over.
Well, he wants to try to confuse the jury. I mean, it's,
Well, guess what? Let's go back, okay? Confuse the jury. Let's talk about the red herring. So I'm getting cross-examined by a guy named Robert Blazer. Again, looks like Bob Newhart. Okay, now remember, what was it? Who were the teams that were playing in the playoffs? Bengals, Oilers, right? First question I was asked, thank you, Mr. Renken, for being here. It's great, all that stuff. Said, you're quite welcome, sir. Well, when you were shooting the Buffalo Bills-Kansas City game, what?
well, no,
What?
Wait,
I go,
What research did you do, sir?
I'm sorry. Excuse me. No, it was the Bengals Houston Oilers game, sir. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm bad. Okay. Then he asked me some in between stuff. Then he came to another one, like when you were shooting a defendant with the gloves on, did you get it mixed up with other people's gloves in the stands? I go, what? No. So Judge Ito comes in and goes, Mr. Blazer goes like this. Mr. Rankin's photos coincide with the video. Can we continue?
So I just pulled a picture up. I mean, just for that idiotic question, I just pulled a picture up. You're standing right on the sideline, so you've got probably 25 yards between the stands,
Right.
and where you're standing.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and
I'm
Boomer and Sam just happened to go there in uniform and Bengals stuff to watch.
I'm
another
pretty
team
sure I
play
didn't
an
get
NFL
them mixed
game.
up with a fan.
I'm going, what the
pretty impressive.
heck, you know? So that's where Judge Ito had my back, you know what I mean, on it. And then, well, he did.
Well,
I
no,
mean,
when your
it's
job
called the
is-
I didn't know what it was called, red herring.
But
Till
that's
go
right.
ahead.
When your job is to shoot action on the field,
Yeah.
you don't have time to pay attention to what people are doing in the stands.
Right. Yeah,
I
the thing-
mean that is just so far out there and so completely out of the box.
Right.
It makes no sense at all.
Right. Well, that's the idea.
Yeah.
Is that they
That-
try
that's
to
the
they try to
red herring, yeah.
confuse me to make me.
Looking for a reasonable doubt.
And
There you go.
Good
make
thing,
it-
good
make
thing you're
you-
a lot sharper than Joe Biden, because that would have been.
Exactly.
I'm trying to make you not a credible witness.
Well,
Oh,
exactly.
this guy doesn't know what
Yeah.
he's talking
And
about.
that's what it was. So it went on, you know, and so you know, I did my time, did my 48 minutes, and
Who was the
so,
prosecution? Who talked to you on that side? Out of curiosity, who was talking to you? Do you remember?
well, I met Darden.
Was Darden-
okay? I got to
Marsha
take
Clark,
Darden.
both of them?
I met. Okay, let's go with Marsha. Marsha met with me in her office.
That's right. Yep.
Shit. How about the decor? Dead plants, wood paneling, nothing
Dead
fancy.
plants.
Ready for this?
Nothing fancy.
Are you guys rock and roll? 4 foot by 8 foot poster behind her. Jim Morrison of the Doors.
How about that?
Seriously, Jim Morrison of the Doors.
Well, they're an LA band. She's an LA girl. I mean, that makes sense.
I was
to me.
going like,
Yeah.
wow. And another guy shot. I was gonna because I was allowed to bring my camera into the building. I was the only one, or I said I wasn't testifying. So I got down there. They screamed me. They took my camera. Had to go up in 13. I said, I ain't testifying. Where's my camera? Okay. And I knew I was the lead witness. Well, that security guy brought it back up, and I was allowed to shoot pictures in the building. Like I got to meet Darden. Darden was really a good guy, real
Good guy.
smooth.
It was
I
Chris,
said,
right? Chris
Darden.
Darden?
Yeah, and he
It
goes,
seemed like he would have been. I mean, not that he's gone, but at that time, and then even just as dumb as it sounds, just watching some of the the docuseries or whatever. But I've watched documentaries of his interviews. It seems like he was dialed in. It seemed like it.
Well, here's the part about it is I like off the side. I go, how'd you get into the law? What kind of? And he goes, well, I got caught stealing a pair of jeans when I was 15 out of Sears. That's exactly what he said. And I said, I think I better change my lifestyle. But he didn't seem ghetto or whatever. You know,
Sears
what I mean?
had some nice stuff back then too, man.
For 50, yeah, for back then in '95, Sears. I remember. I won't forget because we're one-on-one and shot a picture of him and stuff. And then, but let me get back to Van Adder and Lang. Okay, so they're the two lead detectives, right?
They were really good guys. You told me, right?
Great guys. Lang didn't want to be in the spotlight. Van Adder, different kind of guy. Well, here it goes. I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm from the West Side, and I'm gonna tell you what Van Adder. I'm ready to leave. I'm done with everything.
This is great.
And I met with Gil Garcetti, who was like Dieter's. Okay, now they have a new prosecutor. I shot pictures of her. At
Yeah,
the,
Yeah, the guy
Powers.
that's out in LA
Melissa
now.
Powers. Melissa Powers.
Melissa Powers.
Oh, here
yeah.
in Hamilton County. yeah.
Garcetti was the head man.
Garcetti was the head guy. Now he's a photographer. Yeah, and I had to sign some paperwork. Thanks a lot, Bill, for your help. Blah blah blah. I still didn't get my check, and I'm going to tell you about that. I was supposed to be paid when I left there because because I was supposed to be paid. I got a little West Side Price Hill, when he goes, well, we'll get it covered. So I walk out, and here's Van Adder. He goes, hey, Mr. Renken, I need to talk to you. What the hell? Jesus, he cut his teeth on the Manson murder scene when he was a rookie.
Yep.
He goes, you from Cincinnati, Bill? I go, yes, I am, sir. I said, my wife's from Cincinnati. What part of town? Our Lady of Victory, Delhi.
There you go.
I go.
You knew exactly.
I go. I do their
Where she
pictures.
was from, yeah.
I do their youth pictures. He goes, really? He goes, you need anything? I go, yeah. I said, I got a baseball here. Can you take it down to Marcia and have her sign it? Took it down, brought it back. They had to take her out the back way, and I seen them rush by.
Right.
Oh, she had to go through it. Not like now everybody in front. Now I was able to shoot pictures. Johnny Cochran, all those guys they had all wore the same kind of tie. There's a name for that, Serenity or something. But and I was able to shoot, and I got my suit on, and there's people going, hey, that's Renken. That guy was testifying. He's shooting pictures of Johnny C. coming out, you know what I mean? And one guy is security, he said, who are you with? I go, I testified. So I shot some pictures. But Van Adder, okay? So here's how that just blew me away. And I'm going, wow, guys. He ended up dying of brain cancer. He was on the Cunningham show several times. And he, in turn, went up to Bright, Indiana. I think his son still lives out on like a horse farm or something. But Cunningham had him on quite a bit. Good guy, solid guy. When we left, we went down on the elevator together, go back. He was right in the middle of the street. The boom is there. I'm shooting pictures. Just him talking. And Lang goes, I don't want fucking anything to do with this. But here's Van Adder. We walked back because our hotel was right next to the police department. So goodbye. We'll see you. Maybe we'll see you sometime. Guess who comes in to Joe Beth for the book signing in Norwood? Phil Van Adder, man. My man.
Was there a ride? Did you get a ride or something from one of those guys or no?
Get what?
Did I have that wrong? Did you get a ride from one of those guys?
That was another thing. I was a different guy. I got a ride from because I told him, I said, I'm not taking no purple bus to the airport, bus, whatever it is. I told Patty Joe Fairbanks that. I mean, he's got shit all over. I said, and I want my check, okay? I want, I sent all that picture. I bought the pictures. Here's the invoice.
Yep.
Where's my money, okay? So she goes, oh, you got to calm down a little bit, you know what I mean? So I said, okay, but I'm not no purple van back to the airport. And they had me all set up, and it was Furman's former partner.
Yes, that's what it was.
This is pretty, yeah.
That was interesting.
It was very, and it was like a 40-minute drive. We seen, what's the name? Oh, God. They were doing a movie on the highway. I can't remember offhand what it was. They were doing some kind of movie, that slapstick guy that I think they're all passed away. He did like a series of them. White hair guy.
Yeah,
whatever.
Police Academy.
Leslie Nielsen.
You got it. That's it. Yes. Yeah, and I knew it because I could see his white hair.
Police Squad. Naked Gun.
Yeah,
right. And I'm going like,
Gun,
wow, man, look at this. Naked Gun being, where it was. And so.
Was OJ in it?
I'm seeing a sightseeing. So the guy told me he worked with Furman for about 4 months. And pretty much, he took the fifth, or he lied.
And Furman ruined the case by that. But you asked him about Furman's
I asked
character.
him. He goes, well, he did an interview with that girl, right? Well, he had ulterior motive. We'll leave it at that. Okay, his partner.
Trying to
He didn't
impress the
say
woman.
it. He was trying to. Yeah, when he did the interview, that's exactly what Furman's partner didn't tell me, but that's pretty much how he said it.
Did Furman testify prior to you?
No,
If you knew, I mean,
I think it was afterwards.
because I can't remember when exactly the racism allegation came out.
think?
If it while it was,
It was. I'm pretty sure it might have been around.
They pulled that card out later,
Yeah.
okay.
In a way.
midstream, I think.
But there's a lot, just there's so many avenues with it, what I was experiencing out there.
It was a 9-month trial. I mean, that is.
Yeah, and I'm up there spelling my name out, B-I-L, William Renken, I got my purple Elder shirt on, my pinstripe suit, big glasses, hair's looking good, I'm looking clean, looking good.
That's all that matters.
Let's go,
John Gotti
what?
suit on.
And I'm got up there, and I'm looking, I'm going, man, what's this? But you know what? I really wasn't nervous. Because it really was so, I don't know how to really explain it.
It pertained to you.
You
but
weren't the one on trial.
It pertained to you, but it didn't pertain to you.
But Cunningham goes, God, he goes, Cunningham's son, he goes, Renken, I bet when they were cross-examining, there was sweat coming down your face and everything, right? Making you look like a red herring. He didn't say red herring. I didn't know what it was till I asked some other lawyer what it meant, discredit me. Okay, so
Try to confuse, throw it out there.
confuse
It's kind of
them.
like three-card Monte or the game with the three cups and a ball in one of them. Trying to
Is
distract
that
a
what
little
it-
bit.
Yeah, yeah. It was
Hey,
pretty-
Rob's used that a few times in the courtroom.
Are you a lawyer?
Yeah.
You are.
Yeah.
Can I get your card?
Oh,
before I
God,
leave?
here we go.
Sure
Yeah.
can.
Oh yeah, because
I was going to say you should
wait a
lawyer
minute.
up and try and get your money from that fucking prosecutor's office.
This is let's see if I got it here.
I was going to say, do you want to go to jail?
No, here.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Wow.
Oh, come on.
Bronson.
Is there a statute of limitations on that?
Yeah.
Hey, Bill. we
That he
got-
should get paid if he's going to get paid for testimony?
Probably.
Hey,
Aw,
police
man, that's-
officer, a prosecutor, accountant, and defense attorney. I mean, you name it. This guy's done.
You
it.
got it all. See, you know,
I didn't know what I wanted to be
Hey,
when I grew up.
You know what?
We still don't.
Diversity is big.
It is.
You know, and even when I was in TV, I just, I did flat art, had a lot of stuff, art, set design, logo layouts, all this kind of stuff. So that's what I liked about. I wasn't just restricted doing the same thing every day.
That's why I like the law. I mean, I do litigation, which being a former cop, prosecutor, criminal defense is kind of in my alley. But I also like civil litigation, being in business and a CPA, because the cases are unique and you just go into court. I don't like sitting behind a desk for 12 hours a day drafting crap.
Jesus.
I'd rather be in court. Some days it's nice being in court here and there. And all
Well, I'll tell
over,
you what,
but some days you need to catch up sometimes. In the
I tell you
office.
what, one thing with the OJ trial, I really got involved with somewhat watching TV with criminal court cases and things like that. This world's pretty screwed up, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we'll keep it on the
You
low
think?
now. I'm just being very mellow with
Yeah.
it. Now, if you get me out front, then I'll tell you a little more how things are. I'm 73. I've seen a lot. Been very fortunate. Got a good family, great wife. Nancy had my back. We've had some bad during the OJ thing. We had a couple of bad calls come to our house. Not good. That she
Got a great
took.
family. Yeah.
And it's part about it is family. And me and Mark and my boys are still hanging with me. So that's solid. You know what I mean?
And you know what, Bill? And the OJ Simpson trial was one of the pinnacle moments. I mean, I was going to undergrad at UC. I was an accounting major, and I was kind of thinking at law school at the time, but I didn't really take until after I got into public accounting for a while. But it was one of the pinnacle trials that kind of piqued my interest in it. Mm-hmm. And the crazy thing is, for those that don't know, he was found not guilty criminally. He was found liable civilly, which is a lower standard than the burden of proof in a criminal case. And then the dumbass does a burglary robbery in Vegas and actually goes to prison for some bullshit memorabilia things. I mean, what the hell?
I was like, what's going on? You know what? You don't want to
Shirley,
put
you
yourself in
can't
a
be
place.
serious.
Yeah.
I am serious. And
Because
don't call me Shirley. The airplane movies with those.
But I
Don't
did
call me
meet
Shirley.
Yeah, when they had the civil trial, who was the attorney that took care of that?
Wasn't that Shapiro?
Petrocelli.
Was it Jelly?
I met with him in Springboro. It's in my book. I met with him. Just went up. He had a book signing. I took that picture. He goes, Bill, I'm not signing anything has to do with the trial. That's what he said.
How about this blank piece of paper and I'll just copy whatever the hell I want on it underneath your
He
face?
said that I don't do it, but then he introduced me to the people that were in line. This is Bill Renken. He testified in the trial. Made him look good. Like I just showed up. I wasn't at an appointment. But his secretary called me and said, can we use some of your testimony in the civil trial?
Isn't it
I
public
said,
record? Why didn't they just pull a transcript?
I didn't have that back then, maybe. I don't know. You know what I did?
No, they
get
had
there?
that back then.
They
They had
had
court
that back then?
reporters.
Well, she asked. I said, that's fine. But you know what? Somebody sent me the autopsy report.
Yeah, he has. Yeah.
I've got the autopsy
Oh, my
report.
God.
I don't know. Wow,
Oh,
yes.
my God.
Very detailed, very medical.
With photos?
Both. No photos. No, I've seen enough of it on, Serious, it's two-dimensional, even with the photos, Dan.
Yeah.
The photos are just two-dimensional. I've got it. I pulled it on. This is just a small book. I've got my OJ stuff. It's almost history, like with my TV and radio stuff. I've got a lot of books because I can do it. You know what I mean? I had a chance during the COVID to file a lot of stuff.
It is so amazing though how it's just unique. It's like the asteroid hitting your backyard and all of a sudden you're on the list. And it's just a random freak thing. That photograph in '91 you took drug you in
Yeah,
to this decades long history that is defining. I mean, it's awesome. It's amazing how that shit, just a little turn, changes things like your life.
and a local guy who,
Yeah.
by proxy, I mean, I consider us all family anyway.
Yeah.
I've spent enough time with you guys. I feel like you guys are brothers, but with my brother being connected with him, like it's just, it's so strange. And when Mark had told me, about his story, I was like, and I saw Mark, because Mark's got a piece of memorabilia.
Mark's got it.
I'm one of the few that have it. Which
Yes.
That's one of Jason's favorites.
That is by far.
I had hundreds on my wall.
You could have 18 Mickey Mantle baseball cards and pictures signed. That's in my mind, it's priceless because it shaped. Again, I said it earlier. It shaped most people's mid 90s all the way. I mean, all the way to now still.
There's
Because
documentaries made after this over and over.
Yes.
Again. I mean,
And
of this trial.
it's just so
what it
different.
represented
It's
and what-
different.
It's the quintessential quote. I mean, it is the defining quote. If the glove don't fit, you must,
Must
quit.
quit, right? Yeah.
And you, from Cincinnati West Side, will forgive that, took the photograph that
Sky
allowed
was
for
all
that.
lit up, man. Well, I hope it's still light out on my way home, man.
That allowed
By
for
my
that.
way back.
But
Okay, I'll be
that's
good.
just amazing,
You're
the
really, it
photograph.
really is because you know what? Here's where we are in 2023, and it was at 95, and it's kind of cool. You guys are all good. It's laid back. And this is how, I've been around. I've shared stories in a bar or sports bar or whatever, and I say, here's the card. Here's my card. You got my cards?
No, I don't.
Okay, here, look at the back of it.
Hold on.
He's got to put
Dan Carroll's got to put his glasses on there.
This is pretty cool. Renken, Professional Photography Services.
I can't believe.
And
you're
then
right,
on the
Dan,
back.
read it.
Here, but
see?
okay, go ahead.
So that's the back is the famous picture.
Here, but you guys are going to
The
get
OJ
you
picture.
guys. Here's that because I've done this before. You guys are going to get
That
the
is cool.
autograph version.
Ooh.
Okay, here, ready for
That
this?
is very
This
cool,
is the
Bill.
autograph version. There, Dan, that's yours.
Thank
Give me
you,
that.
sir.
Give me that back. Okay,
All right.
see the back of it.
Yep.
Okay, there.
Oh,
I'll
sweet.
get you. Okay.
Yeah, there we go.
I love it.
So that piece, Bill,
OJ and the gloves.
But Jason, that piece he got me, and correct me here if I made a mistake on this, but the piece that Bill put together for me, it's poster size and it's framed, mounted. It's amazing. But in it has a USA Today article of Bill testifying, and then I have a copy that Bill did this for me. It's awesome. Is the
Subpoena.
the state of
Yeah.
California versus James Orenthal Simpson.
That's what he
Bill
was
Renken.
telling me about. I'm like,
Yeah,
ooh,
it's a
that's
really neat
awesome.
piece, and it's that photo.
And yeah.
And I still got the original. You know what I mean? I've got the
Sure,
original piece.
but
with
there's
the
only a
picture.
few. What you made for him or whatever, that stuff is gonna live forever. And 20 years from now, people are still gonna know. Look at Charles Manson. You brought up Manson.
Yeah.
People still know Charles Manson's name, and all of the shit that went through that. OJ Simpson,
The tape
huge.
Bianca.
Yes,
That's the crazy part. I wasn't even alive. I was, but
not
like
enough.
single
Not enough.
digits. But I still know Manson because he had touched here a little bit in Cincinnati. He was from Ohio.
He was born here in Cincinnati, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
but I don't
yes,
think
he
he
was.
lived here long.
I think he was in Hamilton for a little while and then was
Went to
out.
high school, didn't he? Here for a year.
Was
Yeah.
he born? I don't
Somewhere.
think he was. He born in
in
Cincinnati?
Kentucky and born in Kentucky?
Either
Oh,
way,
yeah, some kind
either
of
way,
connection.
local ties,
Yeah,
ties.
Mom moved around a lot. She was quite the person.
But local ties. But I mean, they were calling that the crime of they were calling OJ the crime of the century forever.
yeah,
I mean, and it changed all of it. And he brought a great point with Court TV. Court TV was just getting off the ground.
Yeah.
And they're like, we'll grab onto that.
Gotta
Well, now
remember
you
it.
can watch. I mean, right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Instagram and all that stuff.
Communist.
But I love watching like all these like court videos
yeah.
of like people losing their shit. Or
I love it. I'm serious. I,
I
really
I
do.
find
Order in the
entertainment in
Time.
that.
I love 48 hours. I love the interrogation. I love it, man.
But that started a lot of all
know
of
what?
these forensic.
Yes.
We're digging down deeper.
God,
The
you're
first
finding-
48
Right.
here.
But Bill made the best point, and we talked about this in the past, but the best point, can you imagine, now I don't think with that jury there was a payback, and later interviews, and I'm not trying to get into all that, but the jurors themselves said that this was a payback for past injustices for decades before.
Oh, that was Rodney King too. Around what was
Yeah.
that? 92.
Yes, so they want to do that. But what Bill said is, if the classic thing for Darty took so much heat for those gloves that were soaked in blood and everything else, and they shrunk. And Marcia Clark and him, what I saw in the documentary, argued about them doing it. But when Darden had him tried on and the theatrics of it all,
Oh my God.
you could have countered it by having Sam White on there stating the fact that they were going to switch gloves at that game. Can you imagine what Bill knew if Bill could have relayed that to Marcia Clark? I don't think it would have changed the juror because I don't think if you had a video they were going to convict him. It didn't matter, as we see now. Kind of like the Alvin Bragg in New York now. These people just kind of exculpatory evidence gets lost and everything else. Right. I thought we're supposed to correct the injustices of the last 100 years of the centuries that you would kind of. We want to get better at what we're doing for people that evidence disappeared, people were wrongly convicted, innocent people in jail. Here but I think that I don't know. You thought that might change things, but it's not changing today when you see what's going on in New York now.
And you throw it out like Failure to Stop did a big their Friday flagship show of weaponizing the Department of Justice, and I listened to that today. I was a little a couple days behind, but. When you get the brags, he's going to get arrested. Well, Trump said he was going to get arrested. We had no intention. Well,
George Soros
motherfucker, no, you didn't. Yeah. So where you're saying we should have gotten better and things should progress.
We're going right back to the.
I honestly think it stays. And correct me if I'm wrong, Rob. And I'm coming.
No,
up.
I haven't listened to there, but I saw the headline for.
It's a status quo right now of. Nothing in the Justice Department, Justice Department is getting better because, you're on the defense side of it. So you see where I can sit in the middle and see the prosecution and defense. Your bailiwick now is defense. Now you have prosecution experience. But even on a lower scale outside of the Fed stuff, you see where there's injustice, there's bullshit that's happening. Period. If you're trying to if you honestly feel that like your client is not guilty, there's bullshit on the prosecution side.
Yeah, there's antics and games.
And like you said, a three card monte earlier, and
I'm not
a chess
going to jump on a tangent because I'm building up. My blood pressure's going up a little bit, and I don't want to take medication. But there's one book, and it's a small book that. I think prosecutors and defense attorneys should both be able to agree to, and it's called the Constitution.
Yep, I knew where you're going. Yep.
And they have a burden of proof that they need to prove beyond a reasonable doubt each and every element of the crime charged. To get charged, the standard's low. It's probable cause. It's who gives a shit. The quintessential saying is you can indict a ham sandwich. You can, truly, in grand jury.
Except for the prosecutor in New York.
Well, thanks to Bob Costello showing up, the attorney.
If you don't really want to do it, you blame it on
that's the one prosecutor who the DA in New York cannot indict a ham sandwich.
But I think it all still rolls.
The exception to the rule.
To roll it to OJ, I truly believe some of the jurors were probably
Alvin
starstruck.
Bragg. Fuck that guy. Fuck you, Alvin Bragg, you piece of shit.
You got all these cameras in the courtroom now. Hell, they had to have Vito cover up the damn IBM emblem on his MacBook or his not MacBook, but his laptop because
I agree with
of
your
the advertising.
starstruck comment.
Starstruck. Oh, we got court TV. Oh, shit, we're all going to be famous and blah, blah, blah. That, I think, was kind of the leading example. But it irks me, and we've talked about a guest that I want to get on, and I'm working on him. But his book is spot on with – I'm going to end it there. I'm going to get him to say it. But it is. The weaponizing is bullshit. It happens. It happens not only in the court system. It happens everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Politics plays a huge part.
Government.
Even private entities, promotions, etc. Nepotism is rampant. You know how much nepotism is not spotlighted by people?
A lot.
Holy shit.
Ted, he just commented, quit talking logic. You'll get pulled off the internet.
Jason, you remember the one woman, the senior citizen, that was an African-American woman that was, she had lived in L.A. through all of the racism in the justice system and the injustice that happened to, obviously, with hundreds and thousands of black men in that city. But she said point blank that she was so disappointed on his next arrest because she admitted, this juror admitted it. It horrified me for the Goldman family, but she said we were paying back the past injustices of the past. She said it point blank. Yeah. That's what we did.
That's out. Yeah, it's out there.
And she basically said what a fool he was for getting arrested again, and how ashamed she was now that they let him off. Well, and that was in a documentary. Remember that?
Yes, and you look at all.
She admitted it.
All the shit that he did after the fact. All right. So he was acquitted in the criminal, got convicted in the civil, then goes to Vegas, rough some dudes up in a fucking hotel
his
room over
memorabilia
fucking
back.
memorabilia and shit.
Right, yeah.
Does more time. But then, and the time frames I'm going to have off, they're going to be off. But then, when he does that interview or writes the book, something like "If I Did It" or something like that,
right.
You put that out there, like just fly out to your pasture, wherever the fuck it is, whatever it is you're going to do.
You're not going to regain your
No, he
popularity.
couldn't do that.
Just he couldn't do it.
Jeopardy's already attached.
And that's
You're
what
not going to
makes
be
you
convicted.
and you're guilty
Tell the truth.
in the court of personal opinion.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to be guilty. You do dumb shit like that. You continue to do dumb shit.
Right, exactly, yeah.
Well, with Bill involved, we all pay attention to it. But there's one witness that if you could just take that there's no defense against, that and that was the limousine driver who got there early, sat in the driveway looking into the gate. OJ parks the car out front. He sees it. He jumps over the wall. He
Right.
hits Cato's deal. The glove drops.
Glove drops, right.
Or they say Furman dropped it later, which is completely ridiculous. The glove drops. He comes through. But the limousine driver saw him walk past into the house. Goes up, takes a shower, comes down. He's got blood in the house, blood in the car, cut hands. The glove drops. Cato Kalin heard it. The time frame. But that limousine driver saw him cross and come in flustered into the car, and he took him to the hotel, and he flew. That's all I needed. There's nothing else that you need
Right,
to see.
yeah. I don't care what F. Lee Bailey said, you know what I mean, about Van Anner throwing blood around,
Right,
right? I
right.
mean, he actually said that.
You
know?
kill somebody with a knife. The
Right.
crazy thing about a knife is you got to get up close and personal. Now, it's quiet. It's better than a gun as far as noise level, but you're typically going to cut yourself. Trying to put
you're
a
way
knife
closer.
through a body, you're going to hit a bone or something, and what's going to happen is your hand's going to slide up on that blade. You're always going to have minuscule cuts.
Absolutely.
And when you cut yourself, you know what they do? They take the handle off the knife because there's metal going over or through the handle.
Right.
And some of your blood's going to be in there. So they're going to have DNA from the victim. They're going to have, who in the hell's DNA is this shit? It's the moron that cut himself doing this. I can't remember in the 90s how much DNA forensic stuff they had. I know it's gotten a hell of a lot better, and I'm curious, why don't they run it through? I know you can't convict him because he's been not guilty, but put America's mind to rest for those that actually give a shit.
Yeah.
And run that DNA sample, see what happens.
I think we know. I think everybody knows.
But the part about it I want
Yeah.
to bring up is that people will go, if the gloves don't fit, you must have quit. Okay, the testimony, they shrunk 16.5% from the President Harris. Okay, I'm pretty sure it was him. Okay, do you guys wear winter gloves? They shrunk, okay, with the blood and the moisture. You guys wear winter gloves? Winter, you've worn them?
Yeah.
Do you put rubber gloves underneath them before you put them on?
No.
Thank
No
you
one
very
does
much.
that.
Enough said.
Hey,
And the arthritis medicine.
If they
they
don't
didn't
I was
say-
gonna ask
the
about
arthritis
that.
medicine.
They
They
don't
took him
fit.
off.
But the other part about trying to plant evidence after the fact, with the forensics and the way they're able to recreate crime scenes, trying to plant evidence like blood evidence or spatter evidence, anything like that, is so difficult to do after. It's got to be nearly impossible to do that, to make it match up with the narrative that the prosecution is going to try and spin when they tell the story in court. To have all that stuff be able to match up, next to impossible.
Well,
so,
here's
I mean,
the
all
deal.
these theories about
He didn't kill her. I mean,
them planting the evidence.
the
is-
detective didn't kill her. So
Yeah.
why is he adding blood evidence when there's going to already be blood evidence because we know she's dead
And there's
because she was
obviously
cut?
copious
Yeah.
copious
And you're looking
amounts of
at-
blood. He almost decapitated her. for
Forensically,
fuck's
you're
sakes.
looking at the splatter pattern anyways. I mean, how does
me,
it match
me being
up?
the paramedic, not to ruin the story, there's a shit ton of blood.
It's all
Shit
over.
ton of blood. And it's going everywhere because you're hitting arteries. It's, while the heart's pumping, it's still pushing it out somewhere because there's still pressure there.
And
It's-
Bruno Malley's shoes just happened to show up on the killer,
The whole thing, I mean,
which were limited editions.
Right.
He was no
That's
Charles
limited.
Bronson in Death Wish,
It's-
butt
it's-
ass naked running down the middle.
it's
of the
actually,
street
I
at
mean,
midnight.
it's comical.
Yeah.
It's comical, like, to sit back now. I mean, here we are in 2023. You look back, and then you look at his other antics, like I said earlier. It's comical that we're not supposed to, that people aren't supposed to think that he did, but take whatever. Okay, so the justice system worked the way it worked, right?
Yeah.
The civil side of it worked the way it worked. So we're moving on. With our lives, there's still that, like, why? I don't understand why the legal system worked that way, but bringing in
It was a payback. which
there's a reason.
you can understand. the
There is a
anger. It's
reason
just
there.
shame.
But what I love is having a personal connection with somebody that was there. There was somebody who was involved in it.
What else do you have over there, Bill? You got. I see
got a whole
one
pla-
hell of
Oh,
a
he's got-
picture
he's
right
got a whole
there, man.
pla-
He's got a picture of our buddy Wildman Walker right there.
yeah, well,
hey, Bill,
Look at this.
tell them
This
how
might
many.
make me shave my mustache.
You had the whole defense team sign everything. Tell them that. That's a classic piece you got. You don't have to go into where you got it, but how you got all the prosecutors and all the defenders.
I've got a yep.
Who's
Matter of fact,
alive still?
Matter of fact,
Yeah.
made a trade. Traded. I'll be straight up. Charles Soto, CEI Sports, has a lot of memorabilia. You know what we're talking about.
Yep.
He goes, "Hey Bill, I got a piece for you to look at." He goes, "I sure could use that Bill Dickey baseball." Okay. He got through a piece that I tried to get was Cochran and Simpson. It's Shapiro in it, and signed by both Cochran and Simpson. 8x10, and and the story, the Bronco, F. Lee Bailey's cut signature, Darden,
my God.
got all of them.
Yeah, it's all one big
It's
piece.
all one piece. I said, I'll take it, because he knew I would. Said,
Yeah.
Here, I'll get the Bill Dickey ball for you. Boom, whatever.
How cool.
But it was cool. Yeah, and I've got it. It's part of the history of it.
That is awesome.
And but cut signatures like Darden. I had him sign some things. Marcia had the baseball that Van Adder got for me. It's got it on there, Marcia Clark. But I document. That's why I wanted to breathe the camera in. Okay, so do that. Now, when they got through me, they didn't need the other 4 photographers.
Mm-hmm.
See, they had pictures of OJ wearing gloves, but it wasn't the gloves.
Right.
Okay, and a friend of a friend got him on the field and all that kind of stuff. But and that's just how it rolled. And so that's a part about it. It's history. You know, the F. Lee Bailey cut signatures I never had. The Marcia one, I got her on the baseball, but on a cut signature with her picture and stuff like that. And then I got a picture of her in her office through the other guy. Another guy that was there shot a picture of her. Even though I got the timing wasn't good to
Right.
say, hey, Marcia, excuse me, I need to shoot a picture of you. Because it was a small little area, you know.
Working on a closing. Don't
Yeah,
bother me.
you're not
about
too
it.
busy right now. We can go get some.
Bill,
pictures.
he goes.
After
so-
the fact,
What kind of leggings?
if I hook up with you, can we get some of those pictures to put on our website?
You mean like stuff in here?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Okay.
why I brought these. The reason
We'll take
yeah.
some pictures. We'll put them up
Yeah,
on
we
our
want a young
website.
Dan Carroll
Yeah,
in there,
here,
three-piece
make sure you.
suit.
Now I didn't, but I was able to get that here.
I love it.
Here you go.
Yeah, that's the one that Time Magazine
Pretty much, yeah. Time magazine
altered
had
to
it, yeah.
make him
Just to
look
show
a
you,
lot
hey,
darker skinned.
Okay, here's the last 4 people. Remember we told we got into the truck, got a case of beer. Mike Romano shot for the 49ers and Raiders. He goes, hey, Bill, the 4 that didn't testify won't go out to the crime scene. This is after we had some Long Island iced teas and stuff. And I said, we got in a pickup truck? I said, let's go, Mike. Let's do it. So it was dark, and a couple guys were standing right there in front. Get the heck out of here, you tourists.
UMFers,
Yeah, get out of
Yeah,
here.
gawkers.
Yeah, gawkers. And I said, ooh, look at this, crime scene tapes. I took some crime scene tape for just a souvenir. But it was,
God.
yeah, it was just laying. I go, what the hell? I could slice that up and do it in pieces. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Do it. So, but whatever. But that's, with the other individuals. Again, when they got through me, they didn't really need the other 4 people. And they were kind of like, oh, man, you know what I mean? I was like, I had a chance to do this. But it all worked out that way, and some of the individuals that got on the field through friends of a friend, and I can't remember where my credential was at for that game because I save a lot of stuff. So, but that's kind of where it kind of wrapped up with, because doing the interviews with Dan when he was at Channel 19.
Thank you.
Came over to my house, 5829 Cedar Ridge
That's news
on the
to Dan.
west side.
I remember it like it was yesterday.
He
Yeah,
does.
sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, you
sorry
sure
to
do.
be redundant, man. But yeah, but there's so many avenues. Okay, how I was pissed off because I didn't get my check. Okay, so I'm sitting in the car with Furman's former partner, who was with for 4 months. He goes, he had to call upstairs and said, "This Mr. Renken ain't too happy. He ain't got the check." Okay, for the pictures that because they lost everything.
It was a handsome. You don't have to say what it was, but he got paid
Well,
handsome.
and all the work
Right?
that goes along
All
with
that
it.
work, flying
Yeah.
out
Plus,
there,
you got
time.
paid to testify too, right?
Plus
Thank you very
opportunity.
much. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Your
opportunity
time's
cost.
worth something.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, he got paid.
Opportunity cost. You could make
Yeah,
more
I
money.
did okay.
Yeah.
It took care of.
Did they ask you that, Mr. Rankin? Are you being paid to testify here today? Did they ask you that?
No, they didn't ask me that one.
That's surprising.
That was
Because
like-
you should have said, "Yeah, but I ain't got my check yet."
No,
So
I'm
here's
not.
what- here's
But
So
we're gonna remedy
no,
that.
I haven't been paid.
So I called. I'm down in there.
Well, I would have said,
I would. Well, I
"Where's
kind
my goddamn money?"
I want my money.
That's what the Varner Foundation is going to be saying here soon
Yeah.
to you, Carol.
Yeah,
Take it easy.
yeah. You still owe a check.
Jesus.
So I called Brian Goldberg
you-
from
you-
the
you-
car, and I told him. I said, "Hey,
Don't get me started.
Okay. Hey, Brian." He goes, "I got a little problem here. I'm not getting paid." Okay.
Bill's not leaving.
Settle down, Bill. Just relax. I said, "Yeah, at least I'm getting a ride back to the airport with somebody instead of the purple van that
Yeah.
has broken English and or whatever. It's trying to pick up other, people."
I'm going to show you a
Brian took
person in
care
the
of it,
kitchen today.
right?
You tell me if he was the driver.
Who was?
But
Tell me if he was your
Hey,
brother.
but attorney Brian did get it done though.
And Brian did. He made a phone call. He says, "Bill, just relax. I'll get it taken care of." Made a call to the whoever, and he goes, "I'll take care of it in 2 days." FedEx delivered right there. Knocked on the door. Ring the doorbell. Here, this is for you, Mr. Rankin. Yeah. Let's open that up.
That was worth the wait.
I thought you said you didn't get paid.
Oh no, he got.
No, he ended up. He just
All
wasn't
right. He
paid
did
when he
get
was
paid.
there.
I
All right.
wanted to be paid.
See, that's where you don't pay attention
You wanted to be
as
paid.
a media reporter guy. You
I could
don't
have
pay
sworn you
attention.
said earlier you still haven't got your check.
I want to be paid on the spot.
Yes,
Hey, Bill.
absolutely.
Sorry.
cash on the.
I'm used to that because
Hey,
where
we're
I'm
gonna
from,
we're gonna
okay?
ad lib an ad real quick.
Oh, yeah, I was going to real quick.
Yeah, we want to talk about our friends at Ohio Valley Productions. You know, if you've got a party going on and you want to have an event, really a great event, one to remember, then you want to contact our friends at Ohio Valley Productions. You're talking about DJs. You want to do some karaoke. You want to have live acts at your event. Well, Ohio Valley Productions is the place to go. Great team there, the most experience in the business, and they will not do you wrong because, well, it's our buddy Dan Varner who is in charge of Ohio Valley Productions. And if you want to get in touch with them, well, just drop Dan an email there at Ohio Valley Productions, and your party, too, will rock on. And we always like to thank Ohio Valley Productions, especially. There'll be big help tomorrow when we have our buddy Merrill Hodge on.
That is
for
Dan,
that big event.
Dan at OhioValleyProductions.com.
There you
Thank
go.
you, thank
I
you.
was out with Dan and Nick last night. We had a good time watching another act. They're always scouting talent, and they know what they're doing. I want to ask Bill this. Bill, I will even go to the west side. We're definitely not going to let Dan show us how to get there. But
I know how to get to the west side. you
don't even remember being at his house.
Do you even know I was a traffic reporter?
Do you
I
know?
flew around in a helicopter all around this city for years.
You did
right.
not. You didn't do shit but look out a window. Somebody else flew you around. First of all.
Someone-
Secondly, we were talking
yeah, but
about
I-
South
I didn't
Dakota. You
say
were
I
going
flew
north.
the helicopter.
Bill,
I know where I'm going.
we won't rely on you.
Let's go. You want to race the Western Bowl right now? I'll race you. See who gets there first.
Western Bowl. Wow, man. That's where George
Come on.
Vogel bowls.
I got things going on, Dan.
Yeah, right.
Bill,
You don't
Yeah,
even
go
know
ahead.
where it is.
I want to. It's on the west side of town, Dan. I want to look at your book later, if that's all right with you.
Let's go to
I will
Stone
make
Lane.
a solemn promise. So we'll go to you. You don't have to come back over here, drop Hansel and Gretel.
Guess what? I know how to get here now, I think.
We'll go over there because I
think.
I think you
Thank
guys
you.
got bars over there. I know you got a
Yeah.
plethora of
I'm going to
Catholic
throw
churches.
one. I'm going to well, Catholic churches.
Call me when you get home. 3 hours after you leave here. Oh, I made it. I'm back home now.
Catholic churches, festivals.
Only took 3 hours.
And what do you say? It's all what it is over there. You know what I mean?
I'm
Hey,
Catholic,
Think
so
about it.
we
Okay,
drink.
so hey,
Fish
I'm the,
fries.
I'm the oldest of 12, Catholic family, rhythm method.
Hmm?
Think about that, gentlemen.
Rhythm method.
My sister did
Okay.
that. She's got 7 kids.
but
We had 12, and I'm the oldest of 12. And I took my mom when she was pregnant for my last 2 sisters to Good Sam. My father only owned a car for 4 years. It got totaled. He always got a ride to work downtown or 25 cents to take a bus.
Yep.
Old school. Price Hill, take you downtown where he worked. And got the garbage bags out, put them in the back seat. And went to Good Sam. Mom's water broke. Both my sister Sandy and Linda.
Off we go.
Okay, and off we go. Yeah, for sure.
my second
So,
and third one, we
go
took
ahead.
my wife's car because she couldn't remember if her water broke or not, and I didn't want her in my car just in case. So I was like, "We're taking
Don't you
your
have the
car."
plastic seats? They
No,
still around?
I was starting out.
Oh, that's
thin.
for
I was
huh?
starting out thin. It was not leather. It wasn't going in my car. Let's just put it that way. So I'll come over there. We'll come over there. But I want to look through this because I want to see what else you got in there. We're hitting a point where I think we're going to dial it down. But I want to.
Sure.
Will you come back? Will you be on the show again?
Oh, I've heard that before. Like, we need you back. He says this when he has guests on.
Tell him Pete
When
Rose stories.
And more stories. We hadn't even hit on that. You
I
know,
know,
the
but-
Pete Rose stories, or
You've got a million stories in that one book.
I know.
right
That's
there.
why I want to look at the book. And
Here,
most people can only tolerate Dan
I
for
want
about
to
an
show
hour
you.
and 20
I just need to
minutes.
show you how good looking I looked back then. Look at this here with me and Marcia on the stand.
Marsha was
good. She always changed her hair. See? That's
Yeah, we definitely. I mean, knowing
Okay.
knowing the stories that you have, and obviously hearing them through Mark, we could do a whole nother segment on that one, and I think that'll be awesome.
You're cool.
It'll
Yeah,
be huge.
absolutely.
You're willing?
And guess what? I'm
That's
willing.
cool.
And
Someone
you know
got
what?
that screenshot for you. That's
You know
cool.
how he did that then?
Took a picture
was-
of the TV, right?
Guess what? That was on video back then, and a guy at Northgate was able to take the video and freeze it,
Okay,
and then make
that's
a
cool.
4x6 negative.
Just one
back
frame.
then.
That's cool.
Seriously, yeah.
A lot of hoops to jump through back then.
Do you like Marcia's hair better straight like this
Straight,
or the curly?
No,
you don't like the
I don't
curls?
like that. I'm sorry, I don't. I thought it looked fine.
But I just want to pick up on a point that you talked about earlier
Court TV. There you go.
about when you were at the Bengals game and you're on the field and OJ's on the field and you were able to walk up and talk to him and say, "Hey, can you sign this picture for the Gregories?"
Yep.
And you talked about how it's all different now. What changed all that was September 11th.
You got
All
it.
all that kind of stuff changed the relationship that professional athletes had with the media and and national media had with local media,
Yeah.
especially in connection with the NFL. September 11th changed all that.
Yeah.
And it is so different now than it was back then because I was involved in it pre and post September 11th, and I know the way it used to work before September 11th and after September 11th, and it's still different now than I don't think it will ever be like it was before September 11th.
Right, but real quick, is it? I mean, I don't need to be on the field anymore, but you cannot go to an NFL game. I could sit there. We do a barter, West Side, trade for season tickets. Took my wife to a game, did the last game I did. I was allowed to bring my camera with a nice lens and sit there and shoot pictures of Andy Dalton and what's the name, the former Packer that's now going to be the Jets.
Rogers.
Yeah.
Rogers. And I just sat there, no big deal. You can't even do that anymore.
No,
NFL steps in. They got the medal. I use the word Gestapo. It really is. I mean, it's not right or wrong, but
Papers.
that's
Papers.
whatever it is. You can't, background check. The last event I did with John Popovich, John hooked me up to do the Pete Rose thing down on the field with that. That's the last time, and then I had to get my picture taken, had to send it to him, had to wear it. Not my little card from back in the late 70s
Right.
where, here you go, Bill, go on in, man. Going in the locker room to see another locker room
But
story.
you were tight with the Dodgers with Tommy Wiseau.
That's it.
And,
I mean,
and
thank
Garvey.
you.
Yeah.
How about this? They were like rock stars when they came into town. Okay, so I'm with Walt Mayer at Channel 12 then. They're interviewing Mr. Steve Garvey.
He had pictures for him.
It's just wild. And here comes like Tommy Lasorda, all naked, doing a ribs and a bud, walking in the middle. Now, try to get that visual. Okay? I'm serious. Okay, but part two, Jerry Royce. I
my
did some
God.
stuff with Jerry Royce.
Ribs and a
he,
bud.
he was. I'm serious. Okay, hey, what's going on, guy? How you doing? You interviewing the man, Mr. All-American Steve Garvey? Okay, so I say this.
Did you hook up with an 8-ball after the interview?
No, they had beers though. He
No,
had
beers.
there.
But
Okay.
a can of Bud and a rib and naked. Try to get that visual. No towel.
Lasorda.
Walking
I don't want to think
Lasorda.
about it.
Yeah. I know. But here's
the
Mr.
YMCA down on
Part
Central.
two.
man.
Funny as shit,
It's
man.
the
But
same
part
thing.
two is a guy I got, because I've told this before. Not on whatever. This is really good. Mr. All-American Steve Garvey, right? Hair all nice, still neat after a game. Walt's over there, and there was a woman video person. in the locker room. They were allowed to come in.
Sam Weiss hated that.
I know he did.
Okay,
Sam.
well, let him tell his story.
I'm just saying.
How's that sound? How's that sound that we let the guys
I'm
talk?
listening. When he's telling his story, I'm just interjecting. That's all.
So
Yeah, well, stop.
they're all faced
No, I'm
over
not gonna
here.
stop.
Lasorda does his thing. Class clown. Jerry Royce comes over. Takes his towel off. Puts it over Steve Garvey's shoulder. You use your imagination, okay?
During the interview.
During the interview, and I'm going like, "Did you get that, Renken?" You know. I go, "Whoa!" That was, like Pete Rose when he dipped water and took, Joe DiMaggio's shower when they were in Vietnam.
Dude, I heard that story.
Why do you think they called him the Italian Stallion? You heard that one?
Guy was packing heat.
Whatever, man. But that is like a visual, and how laid back it was, though, in the locker room. You could sit and talk, if you wanted to get something signed. That's where Wild Man Walker was all the time. We hung out, and he was really tight with Pete. But every time, look at all these stories. Denny McClain, Larry Bird, and that's just for his second book, okay? Because he wants to do a second book.
Right.
He ain't got back with me yet. But whatever. That's how laid back it was compared to how it is now, where they have to have a picture of everybody. And look at the NFL. Guys got to wear vests now. NFL, and they got numbers on them.
So I know exactly who you are.
Who you are.
Right. It's just like Vegas. There's an eye in the sky. They're watching everybody, making sure.
Yeah.
Hey, this guy infiltrated my area. Oh, what number was his vest? Okay, all right, yep, you're out. You're not going to be at the next Monday Night Football game or whatever.
I mean, but one photographer that works out at Dodd, he is not allowed. Some of the best pictures are after the game with the players, not exchanging jerseys. They never did that, but those were some of the money shots. With the players together with their friends.
Well, that's
right?
why all the coverage that you see of the NFL and professional sports in general is also generic. Everything looks like everything else, right? There's no creativity. There's no outside the box thinking, and it's because, and I understand the NFL and major sports leagues want to protect their players, and I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah.
But it has ruined the creativity and the the ability of, let's say, people like you got to have the right credentials to even get within throwing distance of the stadium, right?
Yep.
And so there's not going to be some young upstart coming there who has a different way of doing things who's going to be able to do anything, because you have to do it all within the guidelines that are laid out, and anything outside of that, guess what? You're getting kicked out of the stadium.
Yeah,
that's how it works.
That's just how it is. Unfortunately, that's just how things are. But 9/11, real quick, I did. How did I get affected with that? Okay, Twin Towers got blown up, right? Well, guess who ordered 1,000 pictures from me? This office was in it. I'm going to throw this out at you.
Yep.
I did work with Boomer Esiason with cystic fibrosis. I've been to his house in Villa Hills when his son was 4 years old. Me and my lighting guy, went over and did pictures when he got traded to the Jets or signed as a free agent. So Dave Remington, who was a center, was president of his, Boomer Esiason CF. So he ordered 1,000 pictures, 2 different poses, mailed them to him with a check. Gee, something blew up. They were delivered the day before Twin Towers went up.
Damn.
No shit.
It's a true story. Absolutely. So how do I get paid? I got to look. Mr. Renken needs a check, right? So I just nobody get a hold of. So a month later, they relocated and they said, "Hey, this is so and so from the Boomer Esiason Foundation. I think we owe you some money, Mr. Renken." I go, "Yeah, but we need to order some more pictures." Okay. So I just wanted to throw that in there like that. Boomer was really good about that, and it was all good. Worked with Dave Remington, sent stuff to him. It's just another story, guys. You know what I mean? But you bring up the 9/11 when everything was shut down, that I can't even go to a Bengals game and sit there with my camera like I think I'm going to take over the market or something.
Yeah, those days are over. It's a whole different thing now.
Yeah, but you know what? I've got all my images, and I've got everything.
He's got a collection like nobody's.
Well,
business.
look,
It's incredible.
but you can't get that opportunity anymore. One guy I know worked at Dodd, did Bengals. He was not allowed to go at the field afterwards, or he would be fired. to do what I told him. I brought in stuff and showed him stuff. You know, like Earl Campbell and Pete Johnson together. That's one of my famous ones. The tank guys. You know what I mean? And he goes, "Hell, we wouldn't be able to do that. I'd lose my job." Yeah, but there's still guys out there, but they're allowed to be out there. But that was kind of a lot of fun, you know, meeting those guys.
Well, and then we were when we did that weekend with Pete was in, I got to stay at that Embassy Suites next to him. And that morning, Jason knows that story. I came down in the morning. We were getting ready to play golf. We were out till 3 in with Pete. That was that was back when, before all the stuff came out with Pete. I think it was like 1996. It was his first trip back, but we had him there for the weekend. We had the golf outing. We had the Reds game, first time he ever went.
Right, yeah.
But that morning, he's having his coffee, and I'm sitting down there, and I said, "Hey, I don't want to bother you. I'm 26 years old." I said, "Do you mind if I get some things signed for my bar?" He said, "Mark, go get it." And we had hit it off the night before because I had taken the Jazz, and he took the Lakers. That whole story, you remember that one?
Right, that's right.
So here's Pete. Nobody knew he bet. Here we're talking betting for 2 hours. It was amazing. And but that week, I pulled out the USS Intrepid, Joe DiMaggio, Pete Rose in Vietnam, all this stuff. He said, "Mark, where'd you get all this?" I said, "I got it from Renken." "Oh yeah, Renken." He knew, and he wanted these things. And Bill had the Pete Rose hit. You know, there's all these hits.
I was able to have that. I was able to squeeze in.
He was in his own box,
in my own photo box to get that. That's another area.
But even Pete was enthralled with his work. You know, which was awesome.
Yeah. I'm sure people. I mean, I agree. People are going to have life experiences that I'm sure they don't think were photographed or documented. And thank God for people like you, Renken Photography, Bill Renken. And I want to thank you. I want to thank, first of all, Deadleg and Falconator and the others from Failure to Stop that are watching. And Deadleg, we're going to get Bill back. He wants you back. He wants to hear more stories.
Yeah, we're making a commitment right now to a Bill Rankin part 2.
And the beauty is, you were calling out Pete Rose's thong size.
Oh, we even.
And Deadleg's like long dong silver. I want to point one thing out. You ready?
I'm ready.
One thing out. Dan, you too could be a long dong silver if you'd answer the question whether you manscape
That's
or not.
never going to happen.
Do you man?